The following program is underwritten by the generous support of Associates of Glens Falls and Loomis & Lipan Insurance. Since 1852, they have been assisting both businesses and individuals across the country secure the most comprehensive insurance products available. Associates of Glens Falls and Loomis & Lipan are one of New York's largest independently owned insurance agencies. Public affairs programming on Look TV is underwritten by the generous support of Pinnell's Restaurant, classic Italian-American food since 1922, and Stored Tech, technology solutions for computers, networks, and phone. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcomed. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Most cybersecurity firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Town of Queensbury Town Board meeting. It is March 23rd, 2020, and the time is 7:05 p.m. And before we begin the regular agenda items, would you please all rise and join Councilperson Harrison Freer in saying the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Now, we're doing our COVID-19 thing. The town board is trying to address in the most responsible manner that we can the pandemic that is before us. We are working with New York State, we're working with other local governments, and we have put together a pandemic response plan. It's 13 pages. It gets updated constantly. The last plan was approved by this town board as of last Tuesday. It represents a lot of work by a lot of people. Dedicated people. I think that we have some of the finest here at Queensbury in terms of our department managers and in terms of a town board that's very cooperative and willing to do the right thing and work with everybody. We all work together to develop a plan that we think responsibly deals with the COVID virus as of today, Monday, March 23rd. Tomorrow might be a new day. I say that because I keep track of national and state orders. So starting off with March 7 and Governor's Order 202, March 12th, 202.1, March 14th, 202.2, March 16th, 202.3, March 16th again, 202.4, March 18th, 202.5, March 18th again, 202.6, March 19th, 202.7. Then March 20th, Friday, the pause plan. And the pause is a policy that assures uniform safety for everyone. And it included Matilda's Law, named after Governor Cuomo's mother. And it basically says remain indoors. Can go outside for solitary exercise, screen all visitors and aides by taking their temperature and seeing if the person is exhibiting other flu-like symptoms. Do not visit households with multiple people. Wear a mask when in the company of others to the greatest extent possible. Everyone in the presence of vulnerable people should wear a mask. Always stay at least 6 feet away from individuals. Do not take public transportation unless urgent and absolutely necessary, and it goes on. And we've added to that March 20th, 202.8, and March 20th, 202.9. I'm not going to go through what all those say that we should do, and some of them are upgrades of what they were to do before that. Our plan incorporates just about everything that the government expects of a municipality to incorporate. We have canceled our planning and zoning board meetings, but the town still has to operate. The town still has to function. There are snow plows out tonight. Maybe not to your liking. We will catch up. We are on limited crews, one person per truck. Everyone's trying to abide by this social distancing. Spiritually, we're not distancing each other. Spiritually, we're together in this. I know that. I feel that. I also feel tough times. I feel the tension in the air. I feel it in my family. I feel it amongst the town. But we're all working to do the right thing. If we don't get rid of this COVID virus and do it as quickly and as rapidly as we can, we'll be in situations like what we're seeing in Italy. So I appreciate the community's support. I appreciate the fine people that we have working for the town. Like I said, they are some of the finest. I am so glad that we have department managers of the quality that we have here at town. It really helps. We've got a crisis. Everyone's chipping in. I called 2 meetings. The town board all showed up. The department managers all showed up. We worked hard to develop a plan. It's 13 pages. I know of no other municipality that has put together something as comprehensive as we have. And it will change tomorrow. I did declare an emergency situation, and so executive orders will apply, but I will always ultimately go to the town board for their review and approval. So, and I always send it out to the townspeople. I send it out to the CSEA. Is that yours, Harrison?
Mine, and I'm trying to get it turned down.
I just turned the volume off on mine.
Oh, you turned the volume up?
Off.
Okay.
Can't hear that.
You can't with
Go
that
all the way
one?
down.
Sorry. Tablets.
All right, in any event, we still have to carry on town board meetings. As you see, we have the social spacing of at least 6 feet amongst us. You can't see it, but the chairs in the audience, and there is no member of the audience. There's Chris Harrington, he's the superintendent of water and the director of wastewater, is here to explain, I think, because we have a public hearing, and he will best explain what's before us tonight and that public hearing. And we have a protocol that if the public, and we want to make it so that the public can call in. Joel, are we all right? Okay, Joel Barlow from Look TV. I want to thank Stored Tech and Look TV. Both have worked together rapidly to get this meeting together so that we could cast it out to the public. We wish to do this in live stream through YouTube, and we'll get there. And we do wish to set it up so that the public can call in and ask questions, share thoughts, and so forth. I don't think we're there tonight. We may try it. We'll see. These are trying times. We're trying to deal with them as effectively and efficiently and lawfully as we can. So let's move on unless anybody else has something to say about COVID-19 and our efforts to deal with that responsibly. Okay, once again, I want to thank this town board. They're the greatest town board I've ever seen. All right. So we have one public hearing before us. And Caroline, would you please read that to the public?
This is a public hearing to consider Queensbury Consolidated Water District Facilities Ridge Road Water Main Rehabilitation and Lining Project.
Okay, so we have a public hearing, and the town board has authorized, past tense, the engagement of the Chazen companies for professional design, bidding, construction, phase engineering services, and establishment of the Ridge Road Water Main Replacement Capital Project number 225, and to fund the expenses associated with that project. And present before us, and I don't know if we can get this on, maybe you want to come up here, Chris? As opposed to the usual desk, maybe.
I can still do that.
Is he okay?
That'd be fine.
Is that okay with you, Dan?
Yep.
All right, then that's fine. And Chris, would you explain to the public a little bit about what we're dealing with? I know we've had a lot of problems with this line, and this is an attempt to try and fix those problems.
Yeah, thanks.
And when you're done, please wipe the mic and,
Right.
And the table around you, and bring the wipe with you, so that we're meeting our protocol.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so this, like John mentioned, this has been quite the ordeal. Ridge Road between Quaker and Cronin, we've had about 20 main breaks over there the past 20 years. And I think last winter we had about 3 or 4 main breaks in a matter of like a couple weeks. So of course, 3 o'clock in the morning, look at the road. I'm like, when are they going to this road? I put a call in New York State DOT, and they're ready to rehab the road all the way from the city line up to 149, I believe. So started working with the state. We engaged Chazen Engineering. They came up with preliminary design in June to put the water main on the west side of the road. But unfortunately, what's on the west side of the road are all these pretty culturally significant rock walls, okay? And I think everybody, even though they're not a SHPO in their database, I think everybody was the same, that we're not going to touch those walls and cause all kinds of mayhem there. So the next thing I want to do is work in the road. Okay, just do a relay, meaning take the old pipe out, put the new pipe in, temporary main. That's because there's a lot of bedrock up there, a lot of bad conditions. I don't want to go outside of the wickets, if you will. Talk to DOT. DOT says, "Niet, you can't do it." They don't want anything in their pavement. And we also had a problem on the northern section where we had the gas main. The gas company put the gas main right on top of water main. Okay, so that's also a problem. So after talking to DOT, their rules and regulations under 17 NYCCR, we try to approach the DOT to let's do a betterment, okay? So let's stay on the east side of the road. We'll go up about 3.5 foot off the pole line, and we do part of a betterment. We submitted our plan to DOT late July. We have a meeting in late August, and they pulled the rug from out under us. They said, no, you can't put it there. You're going to put it on the other side of the poles, and you're going to directional drill it, and that's the way it's going to be. We're like, well, we don't want to directional drill it, and if I go on the other side of the poles, I'm going to be in people's lawns, and that means you have to get easements. That means we have to relocate leach fields. I said, that's going to be a nightmarish job.
Plus there's, the shale right there.
Yeah, the ground conditions are very, very bad. So what do I do now? So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4 options that I don't feel any of them. DOT's not going to let me do some. The walls aren't going to let me do some. What are we going to do? I know lining is a big part of rehab. They do a lot of lining on sewers. They've been doing it for years. That's non-pressurized pipe. Looking more into it. They do lining a water main. They've been doing it in Canada now for about 20 years. Several companies do it. Reached out to several companies, there's particularly one, and they said that this was a pretty good job to do. So after going back and forth with Chazen, with some of the other vendors, I felt this is probably the best way to go about it. So what we're going to do on Ridge Road from Quaker all the way up to Cronin, we're going to line the pipe. We're going to put a type 4 structural lining in, okay? And this is done by digging about maybe 13 pits, putting a liner in, steaming it, and then making the connections. Before that, we're going to put temporary water in. So what we're going to do is put temporary water up the sides, okay? The Queensbury Water Department was planning to do that. And then once all the water main is in, the temporary water main is, the contractor would come in, put this lining in, rehab, pave, and then we would disassemble the temporary water. So that's where we're at now. Chase an engineer, put an engineer report together. We're about $1.38 million. This is not cheaper than doing it the way I want to do it, but actually it's the only way that I can really reasonably do it. I think everybody knows here about getting easements. Very difficult job. We all know Main Street, and that would take quite a bit of time. And I'm also worried about leach fields. And I don't think anybody's gonna be happy about digging up their front lawn and putting a water main in their front lawn. We're also asked tonight that nobody's I've had a couple of people call up worried about some things. I'm reaching out to them. They have some issues, but I think they're going to be easily clarified. The project should take about 6 to 8 weeks. We're hoping sometime in the summertime to do this. But I want to caution you, we've tried to send comments to National Grid. We've got no comments back. Department of Health is a little busy right now. Got no comments back. And the big one is Department of Transportation. We sent the plans to them about 2-3 weeks ago. We said, we need your comments. We have not heard from them. We gave them a deadline of March 31st to give the comments. And I have a very difficult time to think that they're going to get back to us because they're probably busy too and short-staffed and all that kind of thing that's going on. The engineer is very worried about putting plans out on the street that doesn't have Department of Transportation review, because he's afraid if we go out and we start working, that DOT may have issues with the maintenance and protection of traffic that was put together on the plans. So I'll have to talk to the engineer and see what we're going to do, even if we do get permission to bid. So that's where we're at. It's a cutting edge technology we're going to use, $1.4 million. And I'm hoping that we could get it this summer, but there's other things that have come up in the way.
And it won't be ripping up all of Ridge Road, I mean, because they need to just do it in parts, and they'll be able to line part of it and then move to the next section and so forth. If people are worried about their stone walls and things like that, I don't think they need to worry about the stone walls.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's about 13 pits. They're about 6 foot by 8 foot. You put this, it's like a resin, kind of a white liner in, and you pull it through. So it's less invasive, no doubt. A lot of times they use this in a lot of urban landscapes, downtown, so that businesses aren't really suffered by it. This is also a technique, like I said, they use up in Canada a lot. I know the city of Rochester used it. They're pretty happy with it. Monroe County has used it. It's part of their matrix pipe solutions. New York City DEP has used it. The Port Authority has used it. So it's not only been used in Canada quite extensive in Toronto and Montreal, it's been used quite a bit here in New York State. So I think it's a tried and true technology, if you will, after 20 years. So yeah, hopefully we can do it. DOT has also talked to me. They can delay the paving for 1 more year if necessary. So it's not like it's like next year or never. So we might have some wiggle room there if we can't get comments from DOT and the engineer doesn't feel comfortable about going out to bid.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Any questions, Chris, about the Ridge Road water main lining project? All right, I'll open the public hearing. No one to speak to this? Sometime we'll gather this up. The host would like you to unmute your microphone. What, me?
No, I just unmuted whoever's dialed in outside.
Oh,
I had it muted during the course of the discussion.
so is somebody got a question?
Nope.
Okay.
Doesn't sound like it.
All right, I'll close the public hearing. Last minute thoughts on behalf of the board? None. I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the proposed improvements of Queensbury Consolidated Water District Facilities, Ridge Road Water Main Rehabilitation and Lining Project.
So move.
Moved by Councilperson Freer, seconded by Councilperson Bedivere. Roll call vote on this, please, Caroline.
Councilperson Bedivere?
Yes.
Rear?
Yes.
Barone?
Yes.
Stroud?
Yes. Passes, yes.
John, one moment, since I have a wipe in my hand. To all the folks out there, these do not go down your toilet. They are causing a lot of issues. I think there've been problems in Mechanicville, Lake George, Victory, Schuylerville. We are deathly afraid of these going to our sewer system. They plug up our pumps, and it's going, right now I have a short crew, we have people on call. I'm begging everybody out there to put these in the garbage can and not down the toilet. These are not flushable. They may go down your toilet bowl, but they have a very hard time getting through our system. So I just told John that since I have one in my hand, please do not put these down the toilet. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. All right, next is we have 8 resolutions before us. I will explain and describe each of those resolutions, and then usually we'll take public comment if we can. Resolution 3.1, Caroline, please.
Resolution authorizing advertisement for bids for Ridge Road Water Main Rehabilitation and Lining Project.
All right, same project we were just talking about. This is an authorization to go out to bid. 3.2,
Resolution authorizing advertisement of bids for sale of obsolete equipment.
all right, and these are some old computers and scanners, and they'll go to Gov Deals. 3.3,
Resolution authorizing agreement between Town of Queensbury and Glens Falls Collaborative.
all right, we've been a member of the Glens Falls Collaborative for a long time. They're the ones that do the Wing Fest and everything else. We put $1,500 a year towards the effort of being located on a map and towards putting together those downtown events that hopefully, when they get to the downtown events, we'll be through this COVID-19 virus thing. We'll be on the better side of that. We'll be on the happier side of that, and we'll be able to participate in some of the Glens Falls Collaborative events. 3.4,
Resolution authorizing purchase and installation of salt storage building from Hybrid Building Solutions as part of Highway Garage Capital Project.
all right, this is a bigger salt storage building than we have now, and it's better, and we have to put, the old one is dilapidated, and it's in the way of the new highway garage, so it's coming down. But we absolutely have to have a salt storage building. And we got this piggybacking off an existing county and state bid. It's part of the municipal purchasing program, Sourcewell Contracting, formerly known as National Joint Powers Alliance for the salt storage building. It is a building that will cost $167,515. And this is approval for that salt storage building. 3.5,
Resolution to amend 2020 budget.
all right, as you know, we moved just about everything to a cloud. And it's redundancy, and it is one of the most protected areas for your data and information, personal and otherwise. So that project's done. So we have $115,000 still sitting in the capital project that we don't need there. So this is returning it to the fund balance into the general fund. 3.6,
Resolution authorizing engagement of Pinnacle Human Resources LLC for provision of human resources services.
all right. And this resolution includes a change from the resolution that was posted on our website last Thursday or Friday. And the change as wanted by Councilperson Ferone, and very good catch, Councilperson Ferone. And the language change is on number 2, last line. The previous line that starts with the consultant shall has been stricken, and a new line entered, and you all have the new versions of the copies with you, and it's in red. The consultant shall observe and abide by all applicable laws rules, and regulations relative to the conduct of services under this agreement, including, without limitation, laws, rules, regulations pertaining to confidentiality of employee records. We've also added to this the scope of work, something that we want them to get right on right away. Update, and it's number 7 in the scope of work, which is Schedule A. Update and assure compliance with HR-related documents, such as, but not limited to, employee handbook, sexual harassment prevention policy and program, right to know program, employee code of ethics policy, substance use policy, theft and dishonesty agreement, and workplace violence prevention program. They need updating. And so we'll put Pinnacle right to work updating those. And the other thing that we need, and we need Pinnacle to do, is training of our employees. We're also going to have Pinnacle set aside times and phone numbers. They have a great Pinnacle person that lives right around the corner from here. So any employee or department manager can make a simple phone call and arrange a time to meet with an HR person. Pre-arrangements will be made in the office and so forth. If the department chairs want regular hours that we can have an HR person on site, we will do that. This gives us options that we can take or not take. And it's far less expensive than other ways of securing HR for the town of Queensbury. 3.6.
Just to clarify, so there's no change in the resolution itself, just the.
Just the
attachment.
addition, which
Okay.
I think I gave you a copy
Yes,
of.
I do have it, yeah. So perfect, okay. Resolution ratifying adoption of revised Town of Queensbury COVID-19 pandemic response plan.
All right, the response plan, which I spoke to you, which is 13 pages. There is a table of contents. Right in the beginning, the intent and purpose. In an effort to keep our workers, visitors, and residents healthy and mitigate the migration of COVID-19, Town Board and town managers have developed policy and protocol in regards to restricting building use and on-campus social gatherings. So this outlines everything that we've done. It has the legislative enactions that we've done to date. And I've included this, hoping it gets approved. I've listed the special meetings, 2 emergency meetings, as well as tonight's meetings that we have. I did not include the hundreds of emails that went into the making of this. I don't think the public wants to hear all that, but we have department contact information. We have town protocols for the facilities, for the employees themselves, for all town-related activities. We mentioned the cancellation of Planning Board and Zoning Board of Appeals meetings. We talk about employee health and what we want our employees to do to maintain their health. It talks about our security system. It has details on the water wastewater department and the town court and the highway and the town clerk and accounting. And the activity center here. We have posters and signs that we have put up. We have a department plan. Each department had to come up with a plan to meet Executive Order 202.4, and that is to reduce our force by 50% of the total number of employees across the entire workforce of such local government. So accounting, assessment, building and codes, building and grounds, cemetery, clerk's office, court, highway, legal, park and rec, planning and zoning, supervisor's office, transfer stations, of water and wastewater. And while I'm on it, transfer stations are going to half days. Their hours will be 7:45 to 11:30. The Ridge Road Transfer Station will be open Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. The Luzerne Road Transfer Station will be Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. And water and wastewater, and everyone has worked very diligently to reduce the workforce in accord with the governor's direction. Also on here is telemedicine, live health online, There will be no co-pays charged. This will be free to our employees. We urge them to use this if they don't feel well and get the guidance from a doctor. We have a sanitation plan for all the buildings and facilities. We have an employee work from home policy. We also have the WISP policy. We have IT and phones that we're upgrading and changing, and we're trying to use those in light of the COVID-19 crisis, in that we are going to try and reduce human-to-human contact and allow more cyber connections to be made and maintained, and do work from home if you can do it. We have the town's website is full of new information. We have websites that the public can use. This will be up. It's currently, the older version is online. The new one will be, if approved by this town board tonight. And I did send out something, I'll save that for later though. I did send something out to the employees. So this is to approve this COVID-19 pandemic response plan for the town of Queensbury. And 3.8.
Resolution approving audited bills warrant of March 23rd, 2020.
All right, this is a warrant with a run date of March 19th and a payment date of March 24th, totaling $693,623.30. This town board has to approve the bills before they're paid. One of the reasons why we have to have meetings like this. Okay, so usually this is the part where I open it to the public to see if the public has any thoughts, questions, concerns they would like to share with us in regards to the 8 resolutions before this board tonight. And Dan, I don't know if we do have one person?
They are available to ask a question at this time if they would like.
Okay, and can we hear them from yours, or how do we hear them now?
You hear them from right here if they ask a question. So Pam or Kathleen or AF Met, G1 or iPhone 2 have a question. There's Kathleen.
Sorry, I don't have any questions.
Oh, well, nice hearing from you, Kathleen, and it's good that we tried it out. It does work, huh?
Yes, and I saw you calling me, but I didn't realize you were calling me, so I didn't answer the phone because I was watching your meeting.
Oh, we wanted to make sure everything was working.
It's working beautifully.
Okay, great. Okay, well, thank you. Anybody else, Dan? Okay.
No, I'm just saying.
All right, any town board thoughts on any of the resolutions before us tonight?
Yes. Yeah, so I have one minor change on resolution 3-4. On the contract for Mail Associates, first page halfway down, it says engineered to meet snow load of 60 pounds and snow load. That should be wind load of 105 miles an hour. I called, I knew you were busy with emails, John. I didn't want to bother you. It's not a big deal. I talked to Maury and it should say wind load in 3-4 on the Mail Associates letter, first page halfway down. I didn't understand what snow load of 105 miles an hour meant, but.
All right,
I
well,
did find that odd, so it's good you checked that.
So yeah, it was just a typo, so I'm good with that. But I do want to speak also about the 3-6 resolution, because as I shared with the board when we had a few minutes, I'm not comfortable putting all our eggs in the Pinnacle basket. I think the resolution, I would recommend changing, whereas the town board has been pleased. I would say we've been satisfied is okay, but it's my understanding that some of the in-person training that Pinnacle provided with the town was not something that everyone was pleased with, but that's your decision, because I plan to vote no on this resolution because I believe that we need an in-house HR person or capability on staff, and I think this may be kicking the can down the road. I understand that we're in a crisis mode, and that we need help with our HR, and I'm glad to see you added some additional scope. But from a long-term standpoint, I think it's in the town's best interest to have in-house HR capabilities. And I am not aware of any evidence to support your claim that it'll be far less expensive to hire Pinnacle. I've been out talking to all of the department managers. I had training both in Albany as a newly elected official and asked the lawyer who presented there, and got some training in New York City. And there's a strong consensus in my mind that with over 100 employees at the town level, with 200 in the summer almost, that in-house HR capabilities is a wise thing to do.
Okay, thank you for your thoughts.
Well, I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, this doesn't prevent us from
I
hiring.
understand that. I understand that.
And I think that it at least provides some.
Town council question.
I'm sorry?
Town council question.
Oh, town council has a question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mark.
Is Councilman Freer proposing revision of the fourth whereas or something else?
No, I'm just pointing out the fourth whereas. I would suggest that we amend to say satisfactory instead of pleased. That's not my big issue. My issue is that I believe we need in-house HR capabilities sooner rather than later. So I'm going to vote against this resolution.
I don't think there's,
Wait, but from my standpoint, just so I'm understanding, the only revision you're proposing is in the fourth whereas, change please to satisfied, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, no further questions from town council about this.
okay. Well, pleased or not, I mean, we used Pinnacle for the salary setup, and we were very pleased with them, and they came in much lower than they anticipated. We used them in an employee situation in the water department, and we were very satisfied. We're using them with an employee situation in the highway department. We've been pretty satisfied with what the product has that Pinnacle has offered us. And yes, we outsourced stored tech, and we saved lots of money. We outsourced the management of this building, and we saved lots of money. We've outsourced dog control, and we've saved a lot of money. And we've done a financial analysis of this, and this version would save a lot of money. Maybe you weren't privy to that, you didn't ask, I would have supplied it. In any event, there's only certain things that we need in HR. We don't have the facilities for an HR person. This would relieve that situation. So I think there's a lot of benefits for trying this out. And I talked to a lot of department managers, and they said, yes, let's try this. So here's where we are today. All right, so I will pull this for a roll call vote. And any other resolutions town board members would like to have pulled for a roll call vote? Okay. So Caroline, let's go with 3.6 first, the resolution authorizing engagement of Pinnacle Human Resources for provision of human resources services for the town of Queensbury.
Councilpersons Freer,
No.
Barone,
Yes.
Stroud,
Yes.
Medevere.
Yes.
Okay, passes. Now the other resolutions, 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, 3.7, and 3.8. Would anybody like to put those?
I'm not sure we had an introduction. I'm
did.
sorry, that was my fault. I don't think we had an introduction and
Oh.
a second to the resolution.
So I'll introduce.
Oh, introduced by Councilman Medevere, seconded
Second.
by Councilperson Ferrall. And shall we recast the voting on it?
We can.
Well, let's do it, just be safe.
Councilpersons Freer,
No.
Barone,
Yes.
Stroud,
Yes,
Medevere.
Yes.
okay. Now, resolution to approve the remaining resolutions.
I'll move.
Moved by Councilman Freer,
One second.
seconded by Councilperson Ferrall. A roll call vote on the remaining resolutions, please.
Councilpersons Barone,
Yes.
Stroud,
Yes.
Medevere.
Yes.
Freer.
Yes.
All right, any correspondence?
I have none.
This is privilege of the floor. Any person wish to speak to the town board about any town topic, this is your opportunity to do so. And I understand, Dan, there is one person?
Nope, they're all unmuted at this time.
Oh, okay. All right, then we'll move on to town board discussions. Tony, anything?
Certainly don't have to tell you that these are just unprecedented times, but I do have to state what an amazing job you've done through all of it. You've held everybody together, and everybody's better for it. So, John, thank you.
Well, thank you, Tony, and hopefully we all work together as we have been, and we'll get through the other side of this. No, thank
Other
you.
thing I have to mention is how amazing our teachers have been through all this. My daughter was on a Google Classroom today, and there was 18 of the students, talking to the teacher, and just to listen to her and listen to the kids, and have so many kids say, "I want to be back in school." It's amazing. These kids want to be back in school. It's just terrible. So it says so much about how the teachers are. I don't ever remember a day I ever wanted to be in school. So, to hear all these kids say they want to be back in school says a lot. And teachers have stepped up, and, I've listened to my wife the last few days doing online classroom work and reading books so the kids, have some kind of balance. So, I don't know.
I think it makes us all realize what we've taken for granted all this time, going out to dinner. I mean, my wife cooked up this, Irish meal with the corned beef and the cabbage and the carrots. And my daughter didn't want to bring her kids over. So we put it out on the steps and they picked it up. I mean, and this is the family. But this is what we have to do until this thing is over. But it, like you pointed out, we're taking a lot of things for granted, and kids are saying, "Boy, I wish I could go to school." Anything else, Tony?
Thank you.
Harrison?
Well, I remember wanting to go to school so that I could play football. That was the illusion. But, yeah, a couple things. I want to second Tony's praise of the whole staff, and especially your leadership, John. I know it's been 24/7 in terms of your phone and emails and working on this plan, and I'm very happy to be part of this very well-oiled machine, if you will. I think that things are going to get worse before they get better. We need to sort of try to get our head around that, even though it's uncomfortable. I think the economy is going to be burdensome for all of us, both personally and in our responsibilities to the town. I know George feels the same way, and we need to be thinking about what we can do sooner rather than later in terms of our budget and helping people, and realizing that some of us are in a much better financial situation than some of our neighbors and community members, and that whole activity is going to be really painful in terms of recovery. And I hope my sense remains that we're going to sort of continue to be spitting downhill a little bit until sometime in April, and hopefully then we can, or that the thing will start to subside, and we'll be able to make some decisions other than tightening. So again, people need to keep their distance. They need to do what the people are telling them to do, especially the governor's been, I think, great in this regard. I think Ryan Moore did an excellent job at the meeting, our county administrator. So I think we're blessed that the people in the government leadership are performing at an extremely high level. So I hope to contribute more as we go forward, and I think we're going to have to make some really tough decisions, and we're going to have to communicate that to our constituents.
And I agree with you. I think that, Ryan Moore has done a great job at the county level, and the governor and the president, they're all working together. Congress hopefully comes up with some kind of a bill that will keep those people that are going to be pounded, economically speaking, by this whole situation. And hopefully the money goes to them. The Open Door Mission, for example, in downtown Glens Falls, the number of people visiting them has skyrocketed. People have lost their jobs. They're feeling the pain already. So I would rather see I go to me, I'm still picking up my paycheck for the town, but, and if I get it, I'll give my share to something like the Open Door Mission, someplace that, where we do need it. But thank you, Harrison. George.
Well, I know you all know that, I have the opportunity to serve the committee on two great boards. This is one, and the other one is at the Glens Falls Hospital Board of Governors. And as you can imagine, the hospital has just been 24/7 over there. I mean, the staff, the doctors, the nurses, they're doing a great job, and they're under a lot of stress. One of the things that came out last week from the governor is that they have to increase inpatient capacity by 50%. They're working on those details right now. That has to be back to the Commissioner of Health by tomorrow. But one of the things that I think is really great, and I wanted to bring up, is that the hospital has been receiving a lot of donations from people, from companies around the area. And this has to do with equipment and personal protective gear, respirators, things of that nature. And I even received an email from Harbor Freight, the new folks there on Route 9, that said that they were going to make their stock available to all hospitals and that. And I sent that to the hospital right away to get in contact with them. But if anybody's out there who has these materials and they would like to donate to the hospital, our supply chain management manager is Dave Carnegie, and you could call the hospital number, extension 5051, and they'd be happy to take those donations.
That's great, George.
Yeah.
George, are they talking about possibly having to deploy some of our doctors south?
Well, if you listen to the governor's speech today, the way he was talking was that as they run out of capacity south, they're going to push people north. So he said, he talked about, upstate, Capital District, and so on. So, and I would think all of the hospitals are now working together. So there's a daily conference call between Diane Chagrouz, the president of our hospital, with Albany Med, Saratoga, St. Peter's, Ellis, all of those guys, and they're all trying to work this out together.
Yeah, and if some of our doctor neighbors get drugged in beyond, their comfort level, we need to support their families in the neighborhoods. And, the same for the National Guard. If young guys get called up in the National Guard, those families are going to need our collective support. Because as I said, I think things are going to get worse before they get better.
Yesterday, I was talking to a retired nurse, and she said she got a call to consider coming back.
Yes, yeah. They're checking with all the retired doctors and nurses to see who could help fill in.
And the governor's order 202.5, allow physicians, nurses, physicians' assistants licensed in any state to practice in New York State.
Right.
And remove access barriers to nursing homes, home and health care, allow greater access for unemployment insurance and so forth.
Well, you bring up a good point, because when we talk about the increase of capacity by 50%, it's not just the physical space, but it's the people, the nurses, the doctors, and so on, who would have to take care of those people as well.
Well, hopefully we'll never need it, but we also live in an area that has the facilities. The dome, the school gymnasiums, the civic center. SUNY Adirondack. So we have those facilities. Hopefully we'll never get there, but who knows?
Yeah. I think I heard Ed Moore, the Queensbury Hotel, offered to provide the hotel for patients in that.
Yeah. So, and you also had another good thought earlier you shared with us, in that, we are very dependent on revenue. So you said that, we ought to take a look at our budget picture, and I thought you were right on, and see what we can do to deal with worst-case scenarios, just to be a little bit prepared and not let it catch us unaware.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought that was very good. All right. So with me, I had one note I sent out to our employees, but I think it would probably apply to everybody everywhere. And it starts off this way: we're in this together. And as you may have heard, the governor has declared that we should reduce our workforce by 75% in the non-municipal world. However, he's also stipulated that we're expected to provide essential services and operations. So I've asked department managers to look at further reducing their workforce, and they did. And for our employees who are asked to remain home and work from home if possible, we expect you to be ever vigilant and super responsible in that you should also, even when not at work, minimize your exposure to this horrible virus. Yes, we have to do essential operations like getting food, but at the same time, we can minimize our exposure by not having company over or visiting others. In other words, not pursuing behaviors and activities that needlessly would expose ourselves and others to this virus. In light of the COVID-19 pandemic, please think about what you're doing. Is it good judgment? Is it expanding my exposure? If it's expanding your exposure and it is not essential, then don't do it. Don't do behaviors that will put your fellow workers at risk upon your return. And I've asked department managers to share that with all the employees, but I'm also thinking it's a good thought to share with everybody anyways. But it's good to see that everyone's abiding by those things as we move forward. Maybe we can elect this thing. And that's it for me. Anything else? For the good of the order?
No, sir.
All right, well, thank you, Joel. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Look TV. Thank you, Stored Tech. And thank you, Town Clerk Caroline. And thank you, Chris, Motor Department Superintendent. And thank you, Town Board.
Town Council.
And Town Council, Mark Shatner, you still there? All right, well, he participated.
Mark, are you still there?
I think they heard my name.
All right,
John was thanking you.
Oh, thank you. Have a good night. People stay safe.
okay.
Thanks. Good night, Mark.
Anything else we need to do? And Kathleen, you got your way. Hopefully you can put your article in tomorrow's newspaper, Post-Star. Okay, and there's several other visitors, and we all welcome you and thank you for visiting us. And we'll work at improving this experience as we move forward. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson Freer, seconded by Councilperson Ferone. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. We're now adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
The following program is underwritten by the generous support of Associates of Glens Falls and Loomis & Lipan Insurance. Since 1852, they have been assisting both businesses and individuals across the country secure the most comprehensive insurance products available. Associates of Glens Falls and Loomis & Lipan are one of New York's largest independently owned insurance agencies. Public affairs programming on Look TV is underwritten by the generous support of Pinnell's Restaurant, classic Italian-American food since 1922, and Stored Tech, technology solutions for computers, networks, and phone. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcomed. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Most cybersecurity firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.